Thanks very much, President. My question is to the Minister representing the Treasurer, Senator Gallagher. Minister, super funds like CBUS and Australian Super are facing significant regulatory fines. Does the Albanese government support these super funds passing on these costs to their members in the form of additional charges?
Thank you, Senator Bragg. Minister Gallagher.
Thank you very much, President, and I thank Senator Bragg for the question. The government is a strong supporter of the regulators and the regulatory system that has been put in place to make sure that where there are issues of concern or where there are issues that the regulators identify as issues of concern, they should take action. And that's what we're seeing happen with some of the cases that Senator Bragg has been following, and I think he alludes to in his question. So the government supports the regulatory system that's been put in place. We support having strong independent regulators like ASIC and APRA, and also support them being able to do their job without political interference. That would be the government's position. We have a strong superannuation system. It's done a great job in terms of ensuring that members are accumulating funds for their retirement. We want to make sure that members of those funds and those funds always act in the members' interests, and the superannuation industry scheme legislation, I think, is pretty specific about that, and that's why we have APRA and ASIC doing the work that they need to do. So making sure that the superannuation system works in the interests of members, there's transparency around that, and where there are problems, that those problems are investigated and responded to by the regulators, is the system that the government supports.
Senator Bragg, first supplementary.
Thanks very much. Minister, how is it reasonable for these super funds to pay unions, but the same shareholder unions can avoid paying fines?
Thank you, Senator Bragg. Minister Gallagher.
Thank you. I didn't hear the first bit of the question, just the second bit.
I'll invite Senator Bragg to restate the question. Thank you, Senator Bragg.
It's not very complicated. The question is—
Senator Bragg, there's no need for commentary. Just repeat the question.
I wasn't trying to editorialise. All I was saying was how is it reasonable for these super funds to pay the union movement, but the same shareholder unions that own the funds not pay regulatory fines?
Well, why didn't they use—
Thank you, Senator Bragg. Order. Senator Scarr, order. And Senator Watt. Minister Gallagher.
Thank you. Well, I think I've answered this in the original question. There are regulators that enforce the legislation that governs the superannuation industry. The rules and laws need to be abided by. The regulators need to, respond, and where they find misconduct or inappropriate conduct, they have a range of penalties available to them. This parliament has set the regulatory arrangements for the superannuation industry. We are always looking at ways to strengthen superannuation in this country. Those opposite are always looking to destroy it. Senator Bragg himself never misses an opportunity to talk down superannuation. They won't be happy until every person in Australia has had access to their super funds before retirement to raise the level of housing prices in this country.
Thank you. Senator Bragg, second supplementary.
Thanks very much. Does the Albanese government, therefore, have any plan to step in to protect members of the super funds, or does the government endorse super funds paying unions but not their insurance claims?
Thank you, Senator Bragg. Minister Gallagher.
I've answered this question in the original answer. The government supports a strongly regulated superannuation system for all superannuation entities. There are rules in place, rules that have been determined by this chamber, and those rules need to be enforced. And if there are any concerns, if there are any findings that are inappropriate, then the penalties should be imposed. But Labor will always support the superannuation system. We invest in it, we value it, we think it's good for working people, and you will always seek to undermine it.